So I've been receiving many messages and emails requesting that I update a video on office safe fragrances. So I thought I'd do a different theme on the office safe fragrances, and today I'm doing easy to wear budget fragrances. So they could mean they're fresh, they're clean, they're simple. Of course, they're very easy to wear. They could be crowd pleasers, and for sure they're office safe. So if you're interested in finding out about fragrances for men that are very easy to wear and office safe, and also on the budget side, then please stay tuned. Thanks so much for tuning in. This is Sebastian. Yes, today we're talking about fragrances that are easy to wear and won't break your bank. In fact, all of these fragrances are under $50, some around $30, and there's also some around $20, even less than that. And I find them very easy to wear, and I think they're great fragrances to wear day in and day out. You can also say these are dumb reach fragrances. They're not going to be something that's very complex, overwhelming. It's a pleasant scent. You can wear it. You can even wear these to the gym, I think, because they're simplistic in that they're not going to interfere with a lot of people's, sensitivities and things like that with scents. And then also, of course, their budget. They're not going to break the bank. And, once in a while, I do want to update these lists. And I like budget scents. I like them to be inexpensive. And I also enjoy expensive fragrances. It just depends on my mood what I like to wear, and so here we go. This is a great list. I feel like these are great fragrances, and I've tested these out myself, and I'm going to let you know what they are. So we're going to go ahead and get started with a fragrance from the house of Jaguar, a car maker. And we've got two car makers here on this list. This is Jaguar Classic, this one right here. This is a very easy to wear fragrance in that it kind of is in that line of Azzaro Chrome, kind of metallic, aromatic, spicy, fresh kind of a fragrance. And I feel like it does the job. You can wear it day in and day out. It's not a very, complex fragrance, as I said. Although it does have a lot of different notes, it just wears very easy. It's very fresh. It's also very clean. Of course, it's citrusy and aromatic. Launched in 2002, and it's 100 ml for $19 currently, which means it's around 21 cents per mil for this. I did the mil math as well. And it features white musk, star anise, juniper berries, lavender, ginger, orange, bergamot, mandarin, basil, orange blossom, lotus flower, sandalwood. A lot of stuff here, but it's very, very clean. It's very simplistic, and it's the kind of fragrance you would just spray on and go to the office. I don't think this is going to overwhelm anybody or their sensitivities with their, sense of smell and things like that. So I think this is a pleasant fragrance to start off the list with. So it's Jaguar Classic. You can get that for about $19. Very inexpensive. So I'm going to the house of BOTICARIO, and this is the most expensive fragrance here on the list at around $50 for the 100 ml, which means it's around 54 cents. The math is 54 cents per ml is what I should say. The math is done with tax added. I have an Excel file that I enter prices, and it spits out the per ml price. So again, the most expensive, this is Coffee Man Seduction. 2011 is the date it was launched. It's 100 ml for $50, as I was saying, approximately. So it's coffee, mandarin, orange, cassis, dry woods. And I have links to all the fragrances in the info box. You can go buy the fragrances if you want. And this one, actually, it's coffee, but to me, it's not a very realistic coffee. It might have a hint of coffee, but for me, it's a very soft, pleasant, citrusy, kind of woody, aromatic, lightly fruity kind of fragrance, which adds some sweetness. So it's definitely much sweeter than the Jaguar Classic, but it's a very cozy, comforting wear, I think, and I think it'll satisfy. It's simplistic, it's easy to wear. It is sweet, as I said, so there's a sweetness there. So if you're not into sweet fragrances, you like more the aromatics, skip this one, but I think it'll satisfy someone that's looking for something on the light side, very easy to wear. And I think this is a crowd pleaser for sure. It's the kind of smell is very, very comforting and welcoming. So it's Coffee Man Seduction from BOTICARIO. I don't know if you guys know that house. Do check it out. It's the Brazilian house. So moving on to a fragrance I discovered last year after I bought the whole entire series of these fragrances from the house of Roger and GALLET. This is Open White. Currently you can get a bottle for 100 ml, $13, which means it's about 14 cents per mil after taxes. Very, very inexpensive. This is a fragrance launched in 2013 and it features notes of anise, tonka beans, iris, yuzu, patchouli, incense, violet, and bergamot. Very, very cozy, very powdery fragrance to wear. It's also clean, simplistic. It's not overly complex, but definitely goes to the powdery side because it has the violet and the iris in here, but also you've got that kind of greenish, lightly booziness that anise or licorice kind of adds to fragrances, which I really, really love. And the combination smells fantastic, you know? It's definitely easy to wear, and I feel like if you're looking for something completely different, totally different than what I just discussed with the Coffee Man Seduction and also the Jaguar Classic, you want more of a violet powdery touch, you can go with Open White. I don't know the white thing, I don't know if it fits this fragrance, maybe it does, because whenever I think of violet, I think of purple, of course the color of violets, but maybe there's definitely something soft and kind of angelic and pure about this fragrance, so I guess makes me think, okay, the white theme is correct. But this is so inexpensive and so pleasant to wear, and the collection seems very old school, except for the Open White, very modern to me. And again, if you're a violet lover, powdery fragrance lover, definitely check it out. And even though this is for men, I feel like it can totally be unisex. I think violets are a very unisex note, I feel like, and you can totally wear it if you're a woman. So Open White from Roger & Gallet, very inexpensive. It's 14 cents per mil. As I was saying, that's including tax. So $13 for the bottle for 100 ml. Totally, totally worth it, I think. So next up is one of my favorites from the house of 4711 Aqua Colonia Intense series. I had to look at the name. It's a long name, so I always, skip around the name. And this is Wakening Woods of Scandinavia. It's a 2019 launch, and it's created by Geza Schoen, the man known for the eccentric molecules fragrances. This is 170 ml for $40, so it's a larger bottle, a lot more juice, and again, it's a little higher price, but still the per mil price is 26 cents, so definitely worth it. It's a very, very clean, crisp, aromatic, woody fragrance with spices. For sure, there's a fir pine kind of smell in here. There's definitely, coriander and citruses. It's an eau de cologne intense concentration, so this one actually you might have to spray stronger, like more sprays, but I think it's got pretty good legs. It wears light, of course. It is, after all, an eau de cologne, but man, it smells fantastic. I love the smell. There's a greenish touch about it. Imagine the fir forest or the pine forest. If you like that smell with spices and citruses, definitely worth having a bottle. It smells fantastic. I wear quite a bit of this after a shower. It's very liberally spray, and really a wonderful smell. If you like the outdoorsy smell of the pine forest and the fir forest, you got to have a bottle of this stuff. It's fantastic. And at $40 for 170 ml, totally, totally worth it. Moving on to the house of LALIQUE. This is LALIQUE White. Again, these are all very easy to wear fragrances. You can wear these fragrances to work. As I said earlier, you can even wear these to the gym. They're kind of like fragrances that are easy to wear, non-intrusive. They're not going to overwhelm, noses around you that might be offended by strong smells. They're very, very pleasant. A lot of these fragrances also don't have a lot of projection and sillage. They're kind of close to the skin. So those are the kind of fragrances you would wear if you have sensitive people at the office and things like that. And also, these are very, very inexpensive. This is a 125 ml bottle for around $30. So per mil price is about 26 cents for LALIQUE's White. And LALIQUE White, compared to Black in White, or White and Black, I can't remember the name of the flanker of this, they're so different. So the other one is a lot more intense, so don't wear that one. It's not an easy to wear. This one to me is a spicy, kind of aromatic, woody fragrance. It might seem like it's very complex. For me, it wears close to the skin, and I feel like it's easy to wear. It launched in 2008 and created by Christine Nagel. It's got black pepper, petitgrain, tamarind, elemi, cardamom, nutmeg, violet, cedar, musk, oak moss, and a little bit of amber in the dry down. And of course, it's a very spicy, peppery, citrusy fragrance that I feel like is perfect and easy to wear. And of course, the name White is totally fitting for it, because when you wear it, it smells kind of white to me. Moving on to the house of Jill Sander. This is Sun Men, the original from 2000. I think it's 2000 is when this one launched. And currently it's 125 ml for $32, which means it's around 28 cents per mil. This is a larger bottle that I have here. The 125 ml is a little smaller, and it's once again a great price for this. Created by Alan Astori and Beatrice Piquet. It features musk, cardamom, bergamot, nutmeg, sandalwood, and rosemary. For me, there's definitely a sweet softness about it and creamy coziness about this fragrance as well. And again, it's not a screamer. It's not loud projection or sillage and things like that. So it has this cozy sweetness about it. There's definitely lots of citruses and of course some spices in there as well. And I think I'm getting the creaminess from that sandalwood note. Always associate creaminess with sandalwood. Always, not all the time, but most of the time. And for me, it creates a very cozy, calming effect here. And it's very easy to wear. It got a bit of sweetness in there and a bit of spiciness, and I think it's a great fragrance to wear if you're looking for like an easy to wear fragrance and you want something that's going to be a crowd pleaser and things like that, and not overwhelm, noses that are sensitive to fragrances, and of course also not break the bank. So Sunmen by Jil Sander. I don't really speak a lot about Jil Sander fragrances. I really need to kind of like do a big haul of her fragrances for men. I don't know what's out there. It's not easy to find their fragrances here in the States. At one time there was, but they don't make them here anymore. Like, they don't make their way here anymore, so I'd have to do blind buys. If you have any recommendations on Jil Sander fragrances, do put some comments down so I can find out. And as I was saying, I have links to all these fragrances in the info box. If you're interested in any of them, you can always go click on the links and head over and purchase a bottle. They're really inexpensive, so totally worth blind buying as well. So up next, this is probably the ultimate in inexpensive cheapy fragrances, and I think it's totally easy to wear and the kind of fragrance that won't break the bank. And it actually smells great as well. This is Nautica's Voyage from 2006, created by Maurice Roussel. Maurice Roussel is known for creating Musgrave Azure and a few other Frederic Malle fragrances, but he's also created a bunch of other fragrances. But Voyage is currently selling for around $18 for 100 ml, so Nautica Voyage or Voyage. And it features apples, green leaves, lotus flower, mimosa, musk, cedar, oak moss, and amber. For me, it's a very crunchy, crisp fragrance with that apple note, and it's got this kind of like a crisp, crunchy, drippy, appley note, along with green leaves, so there's definitely a green touch here, and the lotus flower, which is known for kind of a watery effect in fragrances, adds that kind of drippy, watery touch. So I would call this an aquatic, but I wouldn't call it a marine fragrance. Thankfully, it smells fantastic. Fruity, crisp, as I said, refreshing, and very, very easy to wear. There's definitely a bit of powdery touch here, and of course, as it's drying down, it becomes woody and a bit ambery as well. But it's a fantastic fragrance. If you like the smell of apples, green, crisp apples, definitely try this one. I think it's totally worth it. For under 20 bucks for 100 ml, it's a 20 cents for per mil price. Very, very inexpensive and totally worth it. Next, going to the House of Taus, it's a 1920, The Origin EDT, launched in 2020. This is currently selling for 100 ml $25. For me, this is a grapefruit bomb. It's very aromatic with juicy, citrusy grapefruit, so it has some zing, it has some spiciness and bitterness there along with that whole citrusy effect it has. But along with the grapefruit, there's clary sage, there's watery notes, a bit of amber and cinnamon, there's cardamom, there's vetiver, geranium, gaiac wood. So basically, it's mostly about citruses, spices, aromatics, and also woods, and it's a very simple, easy to wear fragrance. It's also not an eau de parfum like the original was very, very intense, spicy, woody. Here we've got the freshness and watery touches thrown in with woods and spices and citruses. Again, easy to wear, and it's pleasant smell, it's clean, it's fresh, and won't break the bank. This is about 27 cents per mil, so currently selling for $25 for 100 ml. And then moving on to the House of, where is the next one? It's Bentley for Men Azure, this one right here. This is a 2014 launch. 100 ml for $30 currently, which means it's about 33 cents per mil with tax and everything. And this is also a watery fragrance, but this time it's ozonic watery with violet leaves, pineapple, lemon, tangerine, bergamot, tea accord, lavender, pimento, clary, sage, and cashmere. So cashmere wood creates a bit of muskiness here, but it's ozonic for sure with that violet leaves note, which adds a kind of a watery ozonic crispness, a bit reminder of apple juicy crispness, and then also cucumber wateriness inside the cucumber. So the violet leaf or leaves creates this effect, and it has light fruitiness from the pineapple, but then after that we've got lots of citrusy touches along with spices. And there's one thing that also creates a bit of a calming effect, which is the tea accord that's in here. But it's a pleasant scent, very easy to wear. I feel like, you know, totally easy to wear. You can wear it day in and day out. If you don't like very strong, heavy, intense kind of complex fragrances, I think that'll do the job. And for under $50, I think it's totally worth it. And then going back to the year 2000 with a launch from the house of Burberry. This is Touch for Men. It's Burberry Touch for Men, and this is also a violet leaf forward fragrance, but smells totally different than Azure, Bentley for Men Azure. So this one to me is highlighting the violet leaves, and I feel like there's also a bit of violet flower thrown in there. It's created by Jean-Pierre, and it's currently selling for around $30 for 100 ml, which means it's about 33 cents per ml. So violet leaves, white musk, black pepper, tonka beans, artemisia, mandarin orange, cedar, nutmeg, and vetiver. So eventually it becomes kind of woody on the dry down, but then you've got lots of spices here. It's a nice meshing of violet leaves, which has that kind of watery effect in the ozonic effect with the overdose of white musk and black pepper. So there's some spice in there. Again, it's very, very easy to wear, a very perfect fragrance. It's budget for sure. 33 cents per ml, 100 ml for $30. Totally worth it. And I had totally slept on this for a long time. I had worn it way in the early to mid 2000s. That one was actually sent to me by a follower of mine. He said, you got to get your nose on this one again, and I think it's totally worth it. I think it's a great price for a fragrance, and it still smells good today after over to 20 years. That launched in 2000, as I said. Then moving on to the house of Karl Lagerfeld. This is Bois de Vetiver, or Bois de Vetiver. This one right here launched in 2017. This to me is a very fresh vetiver fragrance, and it also features lots of citruses here, and it's got pink grapefruit along with the vetiver, and vetiver has these kind of grapefruity kind of nuances or undertones and things like that. So I feel like vetiver and also grapefruit kind of marry beautifully together. But along the way you also have some blood orange, there's rose, there's mint, musk, geranium, ambroxan, and patchouli. And I think this is a perfect fresh woody fragrance with citruses and of course woods. There's definitely a bit of earthiness here and some aromatic spiciness or aromatic freshness, and then of course a bit of floral touch. But I think the rose doesn't appear as much here. For me, it's mostly about the vetiver with the citruses. The rose might have, kind of appears a little bit, but for me, it's mostly about that vetiver, as I said. And it's a very easy to wear vetiver, very, very fresh and perfect, clean, easy to wear fragrance. So it's Bois de Vetiver from the house of Karl Lagerfeld. You guys enjoy the fragrances from that house? Let me know, put a comment down. And then the last fragrance I'm going to talk to you about is probably the most complex fragrance in the mix. It's a little more ambery, it's a little more heavier, but I'm going to highlight it in case some of you are already used to some of these kind of fragrances. You want a little more intensity. This is from the house of Victorinox. It's a Black Steel. This is a 2020 launch created by Daphne Bouget. 100 ml for $30 currently, so it's about 33 cents per ml. Totally worth it if you want a little more ambery kind of touch to the the fragrances. So you might consider some of the fragrances I spoke about a bit too easy, and this has a little more complexity. But it has black pepper, ginger, Swiss, larch accord, leather, smoky pine, and almond. And even though it has all these kind of complex notes, for me the fragrance wears simple, easy, not overly heavy because it's an eau de toilette. But I like the way it smells. It smells fantastic. It's a bit ambery. There's definitely a bit of pininess in there, some smokiness, and of course leather. I think it's totally worth it for the price. Definitely check this one out. 33 cents per ml. It's 100 ml for $30. And again, all the links are in the info box. Let me know your thoughts on these fragrances, and let me know what do you consider easy to wear men's fragrances that are on the budget side, inexpensive, cheap side. Put a comment down so I can find out. But either way, guys, thanks so much for watching today. If you have any questions or comments, please list below. Please like this video. Please share it. Follow me on Instagram and Facebook, and I'll be back with more videos very soon. Have a good one. Goodbye. Last but not least, I'm highlighting this bonus fragrance that I discovered last year. I really enjoy. There's a couple of places that you can find for about $35, and some places that are selling for about 60 something dollars. 100 ml for around that price point. If you find it for 35 bucks, it's about 38 cents per ml. This is La Martina Maserati from 2012. What I like about this one, it's the combination of these fresh notes with cypress and some suede leather type notes thrown in, and it wears really beautifully. It's easy to wear, maybe a bit complex with the leather touches, but again, it's got the citruses that are pretty heavy in here to kind of balance out any kind of heft to the fragrance and make it much easier to wear. Again, it depends on who you are. If you're experienced with fragrances, some of these might be very easy for you to wear. If you haven't, you know, had much experience, then you might find these a bit complex. But definitely check this out. I definitely think it's worth it. I like the way it smells. I like the fusion of this cypress note, which is kind of green and aromatic woody, with the citruses, and of course the kind of leathery touches in there as well. And if you can find it for about 35 bucks, I think it's totally worth it. I don't know much about the brand. I don't care, it's about the fragrance for me, and it smells fantastic. So it's La Martina Maserati. I have links in info box, as I said, for that one as well. Anyway, thanks so much for watching today's video. See you guys later. Bye-bye.